Have his Wayne Goodsell. YouTube has escalated their attacks on me. Specifically, it's the YouTube employee. Ordered by the church. They know that every conference time my views skyrocket. That they have difficulty suppressing my voice. And it's an act of terrorism, cyber terrorism technically, to keep me from warning Mormons of the lies, deceptions, dangers, crimes, and threats of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on Mormons. So the very Mormons that are committing crimes for the church against me are the ones that the church will betray. And they just refuse to accept it. They refuse to believe. And many are extorted, like my brother was earlier this year. The church threatened my brother to silence my voice or he would lose his job. He paid a couple $1,000s for a lawyer, and then I replied, and he was shot down in flames. That's the theme song in the description below. Perfect. So, this is a comment reply video. A dumbass who doesn't watch my channel came to one video and made a comment link to prove me wrong and own me. It was, let's find out which video it was that he was commenting on. Trent. It was a new one. Authorized to explain Joseph Smith, 1838 Bicentennial Second Vision. I'm prepared tomorrow to do a video when the church doesn't. Right, Nelson? I did a call out, and YouTube was on full attack. At first, they were refusing to process it. And then they made sure that the processing was going to take hours. And then, after it was uploaded, they refused to have it shown on my video page. This is cyber terrorism by YouTube against one of their own creators who's got over 3,100 videos on this channel. And they're still having to commit crimes to protect the church. Danny H. is the supposed guy who linked me to Tad Callister, did a Book of Mormon symposium to prove the church is true and that I'm wrong. Tad owns me. This is a stupid, fallacious argument that Mormon apologists, or actually Mormons, use because they're not smart enough to know how to use sound argument in debate. And so they referred to the fallacious argument of the prophets, 70 in this case. Or is he the new presiding bishop? I can't remember. But regardless, he's well known in the church for his leadership in the lower ranks. And so this is an appeal to authority argument that somebody else who really doesn't have the authority is therefore correct, whereas I, who am the foremost scholar of the ancient Middle East, anthropologist, And with that knowledge, I've used it to do real church history research. Now, that video I did, it's only a summation. There is prerequisite knowledge that everyone who watches that video must have, and it's only from me, because I have made discoveries that no one else has. And so it is a fallacy to have Tad Callister in a video, not even talking to me, be the debate against me for my video. That is stupid. But I'm going to take Tad up on his challenge. And I only had to listen for 2 minutes because there's everything is wrong. Tad is using fallacious arguments, and it's easy to dismiss him as worthless. But since I can use it as a teaching tool for those who YouTube will allow me to listen to, because it's conference time. My videos are supposed to be starting to skyrocket now, and yet, as of yesterday, and so yeah, this is a danger, guys. The church is threatening everyone to pay the church or you're gonna die by them. And of course they blame Jesus, but they're threatening to murder you. And Mormons, instead of going, I want nothing to do with this kind of a church, are instead supporting and covering up and threatening Mormons to be their destroying angels. Evil. Mormons need another extermination order for their crimes that they are guilty of, which require the death penalty. What the church is up to requires the death penalty. 80 million years just for making the threats. But the church is paying our enemies in this plot to commit the murder. Death penalty. Everyone who aids and gives comfort are the enemy. So Tad starts off with, the Book of Mormon combined with the Spirit is the greatest witness of the truthfulness of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Can you say red herring? Non sequitur? False equivalency? Joseph's church is not this church, because it assumes premises that are false. Brigham Young replaced Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith's church was the learning of the Jews. This church is non-Trinitarian Christian. Thus, different Christs. The Book of Mormon can't be replaced with non-Trinitarian Christianity because the Book of Mormon itself says it's not non-Trinitarian Christianity. It says in 1 Nephi chapter 1 verse 2, it's in the learning of the Jews. So Tad is lying for the Lord of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, non-Trinitarian. He is lying for the church at a symposium of Mormons who are just sitting around going, oh, I got to attend this meeting. Somebody else is proving the church is true. Great. I won't be deceived. I don't need to be here to listen to this. I don't have Christians or critics attacking me to prove the church is true. I'll just refer to Tad's video. Because he does not, the guy, whatever his name was, the something H, he has no testimony. He has to borrow light from another person, Tad in this case. What is the parable of the 10 virgins all about again? Who were the foolish virgins, and why were they foolish, and why were they rejected from going to Zion? As they stayed behind and became pillars of salt. See, the Book of Mormon has to be researched. Science first. Tad uses his preconceived bias to alter and deny the science. And so he thinks he's owned critics. Second of all, combined with the Spirit, he's referring to Moroni chapter 10, verses 3 through 5, which he has misinterpreted purposely to deceive his audience. There's what's called manifest by the power of the Holy Ghost. Manifest, the physical 5 senses. It is not a spiritual witness, dumbasses. When they tell you to manifest by the raising of the right arm, to sustain rather than vote for the authorities, you manifest. Physically manifest. It's not a spiritual witness. But there are Mormons who have done that, even me. When I'm at watching it on my own in my own room, yeah, I don't raise my arm to the square. Spiritual witness. So this is what happens when you start with a fallacy, a falsehood. Everything that branches out from it are also falsehoods. This is what Tad has done. He began with that first fallacy. The Book of Mormon combined with the Spirit equals the greatest witness of the truthfulness of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is circular logic. It's a fallacy. The Book of Mormon combined with the Spirit, greatest witness of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And the truthfulness of the witness, or the truthfulness of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the Book of Mormon combined with the Spirit. And the Book of Mormon combined with the Spirit is the truthfulness of the great and abominable Church. Church of Jesus Christ. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's a fallacy. Can't do that. And so lots of problems, Tad. You are the great deceiver, having been taught by the great deceiver. And so then he starts thinking he's, owning critics. He starts off, wow, we're already at 14 minutes. So yeah, we can end it soon here. He says critics must answer how did the Book of Mormon come forth? They have. He said, was it man-made or God-inspired? Critics say man-made. We say God-inspired. Yeah, we got that with the first fallacy argument of circular reasoning. Critics say man-made, and therefore they don't believe in the church. And so this isn't a situation where it's just, critics say what they will believe, the church says what they believe, and then people get to choose. I choose, rocky road? Seriously, this is a false dichotomy question. It's all full of fallacy arguments, Tad. There are more options that science is what you need to follow. Truth is not determined by the majority vote or by a spiritual witness, because that's just stupid. Truth is established by scientific-based research with theory development of sound reasoning, performing tests to confirm or reject, as I'm demonstrating. Because each of these are fallacious, and I can stop after his first quote. Oh, that's a fallacy argument. So the rest of your lecture, it's 25 minutes, is therefore also wrong. Because again, the core that he started with is wrong. It's a falsehood. And so I don't need to listen to the rest of it, because he's wrong. He's starting with the core. It's not going to magically morph into truth. That's stupid to think that. But the thing I wanted to get in was he's trying to claim that Sidney Rigdon couldn't have published the Book of Mormon, or couldn't have written it. Because he says, critics say that Sidney Rigdon's the major author of the Book of Mormon. Yeah, because of the science of linguistics, dumbass. But he's using the fallacious arguments of testimonies. His main source is Sidney Rigdon's daughter. And I've done the videos explaining it. I may have done it in that one too. I don't know. But I know I did it recently. And it has to do with Canandaigua, New York, at the York Rites Lodge on 9/11/1826. Start there, because that's the coming forth of the Book of Mormon. Tad. See, Tad doesn't even discuss my claims, facts, explanation. And so, again, the knucklehead who used somebody else to defend the church rather than him because he has no knowledge of the subject matter does not understand that. Tad's not talking to me. He's not replying or debating me. He's debating the popular critics. It's so annoying that people don't get it. Because when you're trying to find out what is the Book of Mormon, because it's not literal history, it's got Sidney Rigdon as the major author, and hey, guess what? Me. I'm the one who discovered the author of the rewritten 116 pages. His father, Joseph Smith Sr. Joseph Smith had nothing to do with the composition of the Book of Mormon. And I see when I typed in the link, because I didn't want to click on it, because I didn't want to be flooded with Ensign College videos. It has Sandra Tanner on there with a little TikTok thing about how she says that Joseph Smith is the author of the Book of Mormon. That the gold plates are not real. And I don't know if she acknowledges gold plates or if she concedes to Mormon apologists and thus the church leaders that it's golden, not gold. Doesn't matter. She doesn't care because she knows none of that was real. She believes Joseph wrote it. She doesn't believe in the popular claim by critics that Sidney Rigdon is the major author of the Book of Mormon. And so she is completely different than what Tad is talking about. He doesn't bring up Sandra's version. Sandra's been around a lot longer with her version than the modern critics. Sandra is the veteran of Mormon criticism. And the church has got a history with her and her husband. But it doesn't matter. I am completely different. I, too, am not who Tad is talking about. And so, to answer his daughter, of course, even Lucy Mack wrote in her biography about how her husband knew nothing of it either. But do you notice that it is not Sidney Rigdon himself? It is not Joseph Smith Sr. himself. It's others in the family who speak for them. This is not credible. Dear God. So, yeah, and then he goes on to talk about Oliver Cowdery, and so, yeah, I had heard more than enough to make a video here for you. Because with Oliver Cowdery, all you have to do is go to section 10 of the Doctrine and Covenants. See in the chapter heading that Bruce R. McConkie put in there. See the date, 1828. Change it according to the Joseph Smith Papers, 1829. Now read them in sequential order again, and you'll see why Bruce R. McConkie purposely changed it to 1828. Case closed for Oliver Cowdery.